On today's episode of Watch Jericho, we're here with my new to me Ford Focus, the most reliable modern vehicle you can buy. And I've got the O'Reilly shirt on, so you guys already know what's going down today. What is going on, guys? I am Watch Jericho, and like I said, I'm here with my 2010 Ford Focus I just bought for $2,000. It's powered by the 2-liter inline 4-cylinder, and it has a 5-speed manual transmission. So, by far, one of the most reliable modern cars you can buy, especially one that's dirt cheap. This one only had 140,000 miles on it. Extremely low miles for anything in that price range. It is hard to buy a car with less than 200,000 to 300,000 miles on it at this point in the low thousands. I mean, this is a very solid car that will get you anywhere. And today we got to fix up a few things. So first, let's jump in. I'm going to show you what's wrong with it. Second, let's go get it all fixed. And it has to be out the door by tonight because apparently you guys don't like it. Okay, here's the Focus. One thing I should mention going into this is it has absolutely excellent tires. The tread depth is almost, I would say, 100% on these things. They are prime wells, so it's a cheap tire, but honestly, prime wells are on most of these cars and they hold up very well. So, here in the engine bay, well, actually, we don't even have to go to the engine bay to see the first problem. The headlights are absolutely fogged over there. So the usual plasticizers failing in these plastic headlights. So with a quick touch up with the Turtle Wax kit from O'Reilly's, we've used that in videos before when I tested out all the headlight cleaning solutions. That should look brand new. The next one, also very obvious, it needs a valve cover very bad, or a valve cover gasket, that is. It's leaking everywhere. In fact, the valve cover gasket's leaking so much that I don't know if that engine mount has actually failed or if it's just oil from the valve cover, because you can see it's just kind of creeping everywhere in the engine bay. I mean, it's even up on the lift hook. There's oil everywhere around this. So that's definitely a factory valve cover gasket that has never been changed. Today, we're gonna remedy that, and I bet there's oil down in the spark plug wells as well. So that's probably something that needs fixed. I also think this thing has a bit of an idle hang. I've had it up to temp and taken it on a full drive cycle, and I definitely thought after you push the clutch in, the idle hang's way too high, although people say this does have quite a bit of artificial rev hang just because it's a manual. So it does have a very nice electronic throttle body there. I love that. It also makes it even more reliable, just like the coil on plug makes it incredibly reliable. Everything about this package rocks. But the TPS sensor is right there. It's that plastic housing on the side of the throttle body, and everyone thinks that that could be dirty. There's no real way to clean it. You just have to replace it. It is $80 and it doesn't need replaced. So maybe we'll just leave that alone because the car does honestly run pretty well for what it is. So headlights, valve cover gasket, a quick detail as fast as we can do it, maybe a windshield repair kit to solve some other problems on here. Check the tire pressures because we do have a low tire pressure warning on there, and clean up some old decals left on the glass, and this thing should be out of here before the end of the night. And we should have made some money. I'm expecting about $100 in parts and supplies to fix this thing, and then should be right out the door. Honestly, it's kind of pre-sold. As soon as I picked this thing up, Gabe got a text message from someone he knows asking if there was a cheap car for sale, and I was like, tell him 2,500 bucks. So I think it's pre-sold and he has a buyer coming tonight. If not, I'll get rid of it tonight. This car won't be here. We have to do an oil change too. I just looked at the sticker in the windshield there and it says the next oil change was due at 136,000 miles. It's 4,000 over, 5,000 over, because it's at like 140, 141, something like that. So we better do the oil change. Honestly, it's a bunch of wasted cost on something that we're getting rid of immediately, and the next person would be happy to do an oil change. People actually like to have stuff broken on cars you're selling. They need something to fix themselves. One, because they don't trust you. And second, they want to feel like they're taking care of their car, even if, you know, it doesn't matter. Even if you put in the most expensive oil there is, right before you sold the car, you've got the best filter in it, it doesn't matter. They could take it to Jiffy Lube and they'll feel better about themselves. So you want to leave something behind for the next person to fix, and that's why we'll probably leave the motor mount, because it really doesn't matter. It doesn't change the way the car drives. It's just vibrating. And although the car is heading out the door ready to roll because it's got a new valve cover gasket, it's cleaned up really well, and it's got fresh oil in it, so nothing to worry about for thousands of miles again. They sure don't have to worry about the tires. tire pressure. Before we leave, tire pressure. So this thing calls for 32 all the way around, 60 in the spare. The spare was completely flat. I aired everything up to 35. Obviously it's 70 today, it'll be 30 in a couple of days. The tire pressure will drop immensely. So I went ahead and aired them up for the colder temps. And of course, tire pressure sensor fault. And now I'm gonna have to jump on the Autel. I've got the MX808 here, which is an older device, but I gotta clear the codes real fast. And then we should be good after the VCI gets a firmware upgrade. This is the vibration I don't like. It's that door panel. The TPMS light will not reset. I tried everything in the Autel and there's nothing there for it. So I figured driving it might bring it back. Okay, we are here at O'Reilly's to pick up oil filter, valve cover gasket, headlight cleaning thing, and a windshield repair kit. So it's a lot of work. Let's get after it.
What's going on?
Hey, what's up?
Not much, man.
It's got a new box. Sweet. All right, we have supplies for days. Let's go clean this thing up and get it sold. Time to clean this thing up before we get in here and get covered in nasty old baked on oil. My favorite engine degreaser right here. This stuff is magical. And we'll just give this thing a soak, and then we're gonna brush it down and rinse it off. Well, it can still be cleaner, but that looks about a million times better. And I'll have the valve cover off in a minute to finish scrubbing that down. So I'd say we're ready to roll. And we are here at the Car Ninjas because changing the oil at home seemed like it was gonna take a lot longer than it would with a 2-post lift, as you guys would expect. So first things first, I gotta grab a tin. It looks like every single fastener on the valve cover is a tin, so that should just take seconds to get all of this apart. And then we'll swap out this valve cover, finish cleaning it up, change the oil, and we are in and out of here like that. When you pull the coils out and there's oil all the way up to the seal, oh, that is insane. Can't even see the spark plugs. There's so much oil in these spark plug wells. And I knew that was the case. It's probably the whole reason for the high idle and all the issues this thing's having. So I'm gonna lay out a towel so I can keep pulling this thing apart. All right, man, what do you think about the spark plug wells on this?
This is not a BMW, is it? God,
every one
mercy.
is level full. You can't even see the spark plug. I knew it was leaking. Look, all the coils, look at the oil coming off the coils. It's like soaking the whole rag. It's the only problem. It even runs great. It's not even misfiring yet. Every single bolt on this is an 8. I've never been more impressed in my life. So they all came out in like 2 seconds, and now I'm ready to pop it off.
Yeah, this mirror is not gonna work. It's not here. Oh, and you can see both. This is here, but I know it's here.
Oh, it's almost all of it in one hit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you guys are ready for this, but these are original 140,000 mile spark plugs. Anybody that questions why this is the most reliable car ever is wrong. These were so hard to get out just based on how long they've been in the engine. Crazy. The threads aren't torn up or anything. Of course, they were covered in oil, but they're going right back in, and it's gonna run amazing. Well, if you guys keep up with your meticulous oil changes, your engine will also look this good at 140,000 miles. These are factory plugs like I showed you. They look super good. Chains look great. Everything about this looks awesome. Really, the only thing that's terrible is these gaskets, and they are brittle and shrunk and just no good. So getting the gaskets out of here, throwing the new ones in, and buttoning this thing up in just a matter of minutes. So I already have new RTV in the corners, hanging out back there. We went with a full dollop this time because that's what the factory put on there. And I'm just about done. Another huge win with this Focus is it takes exactly 5 quarts of oil, which is the perfect number for basically every oil container out there. So this thing is just wins on wins on wins. Of course, we've already got the oil drain and our new filter in, so we're ready to fill this thing. We sure solved the mystery of the tire pressure sensors as well. There are none. We took the Autel TPMS scanner, went through every single wheel on this thing. Whoever changed the tires last either took them out or didn't bother to replace them with working ones. So there are no TPMS sensors in the car, which explains the one fault on the dash I get to clear every time I get in. Now to clean this car up, we are headed over to a tunnel real quick that is full service. They'll do the entire interior and the car. It'll take like 15, 20 minutes, and this thing will look amazing and be ready to go. It says we're getting 20 miles a gallon right now, but I should probably just be a little nicer to it. Here we go. I'm back home with the Focus, and I've got 3 notes for you guys. A lot of people have been mentioning the Toyota Camry is the most reliable modern car. But Camrys are expensive. If you try to get a 2010 Camry with these miles on it, you're gonna pay $5 grand. And that's too much, honestly. This was $2 grand. I'm gonna be selling it for barely more than that. This is a better deal, and it's just as reliable. I mean, what could go wrong with it other than what we saw today? And my second note, I turned on the AC because it was getting a little bit warm in this thing earlier. There's no tent, obviously. It would really help if there was. It is like sitting in a giant glass bubble and cooking in the sun. The AC worked amazing. I was mind blown. You just don't find cheap cars where everything works. So that was honestly really cool. And then the third thing is, yes, the headlights aren't done yet. I went out, worked all day, came home and got dinner, sat down and fell asleep right after I finished eating. So when I woke back up, it's time for you guys to see this video. So the headlights will get done. I've got the Turtle Wax kit in there. The car looks incredible after, you know, a quick pass through the tunnel. You know, they put just the right amount of tire shine on there that doesn't fling. So you can see a couple little dots of fling there, but it's not bad. And the car overall looks really good. They went through everything. The trunk's clean. Everything is as clean as it's gonna get in this car. Except, well, the seats could be extracted, honestly. But we are not gonna mess with that. They're fine for a daily. And it smells good now because they throw a little bit of new car scent in there. Definitely still needs clay barred. You can hear it. But it looks like it's perfect, and that's what counts. Links to everything in the description below. Huge shout out to Johnny for letting me use his shop. That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjargo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe. Do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. Look, I had fun with this, and it's a very reliable car. But honestly, it should get somebody another 150,000 easy miles out of it. And yes, you guys are right. I'm sure it needs a motor mount, but the vibration isn't that bad after driving it all day. The one thing I really wish it had, it needs cruise control. It's pretty terrible once you get out on the highway and you don't have cruise. And it's only a 5-speed, so you're turning quite a few RPM. And taking your foot off the gas really helps. It takes all the stress out of driving something like this. Tell me the engine bay doesn't look better than this morning. I think that's an insane improvement, and obviously we won't have any more oil leaks. And I tried to get my squeeze out on the RTV a little towards that side. I know it's too much, but it's working. And I do think that motor mount's leaking. I think that's what that little spot right there is. $70 more fixes that hydraulic motor mount or liquid filled motor mount, and should be good to go forever.